Digimon Survive's been out for a couple of days now, and as of such I wanted to get out my first impressions regarding the game, since with it being a 40-hour experience just for a single playthrough, it's likely going to take me at least a couple weeks to get a proper review out without just completely rushing through the game and then not really properly experiencing it anyway. Now that said, typically when I play video games, and I'm sure this is very similar for many people, you can get a really good feel for the game within the first few hours, and while the mid-game and end games are extraordinarily important, the early game gives you essentially what is the foundation of the title as a whole. You get introduced to the basic mechanics, characters, narrative, and more, so I do believe a video like this can be very useful to those wondering how the game is, that don't want to wait weeks for a proper review to come out. So in this video, we're going to talk about my personal experience so far. If you want a video outlining more of the core mechanics and whether or not Digimon Survive is the type of game for you, you can also check out this video for a more analytical and less personal look at the game based on everything we've seen up until release. Anyways, all that being said, make sure to sit back, relax, and let's talk. Alright, so one of the first things I noticed when playing the game is that yes, when the dev said the game was primarily focused on the sort of interactive visual novel aspects of the game, with the tactical aspects taking about a 30% cut while the former takes a 70% cut, they were not kidding. It took me roughly 1 hour to get to the first tactical battle, which I mean at a first glance might seem crazy, but you also have to remember a lot of modern Pokemon games take about that long before they let you have any sort of freedom as well. So no offense to Pokemon fans, I am one of you, but I will say the first hour of dialogue in Digimon Survive is much more interesting than anything in modern Pokemon. Within the first couple of hours in the game, there were already great character moments and even some character development. I personally think the pacing is pretty good too, especially when you get your first Digimon. I kid you not, I had trouble trying to end my first couple Let's Play episodes because there really is never a dull moment. You kind of want to end it, but you're like, oh, but something's about to happen, and then you end up Let's Playing for over an hour and a half, and then your video takes forever to render. But anyways, this is a positive in my opinion, but if you are someone who only really cares about battles and are planning to skip all of the dialogue, I'm not sure that you'll enjoy the experience nearly as much as is intended, because while the tactical RPG aspects of the game are a lot of fun so far, I personally felt that getting immersed in the story just takes everything to a new level. The game definitely hits you with that Digimon Adventure nostalgia trip, with all the clear nods to the first season of Adventure, which very similarly consisted of a bunch of, albeit younger kids, getting swept up into the digital world and having to survive there. The way partner Digimon sort of have this unclear recognition for the tamers further perpetuates this, and much like in Adventure, the Digimon's evolutions, or Digivolutions if you will, are a consequence of the bond between tamer and Digimon. The Digivolution moments are really epic as well, if I'm being quite honest. All in all, when it comes to the story, I just think it's really cool to see a more mature and fresh take on something familiar yet different. When it comes to the tactical aspects of this game, again, I've only played a few hours into it, but so far it seems pretty solid, albeit sometimes with the diagonal sort of camera angle, it does get a little bit difficult to distinguish how many squares something is away, but you can always go into free roam mode and mess around with the camera for that. One of the good things about this game, especially for those that maybe don't want to spend big lumps of time in the visual novel-esque mode, is that you can break it by going into free battle, where you can basically battle as much as you want without progressing the story. In this mode, you can both recruit enemy Digimon and grind for experience, so it's definitely a big plus. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into it because I do plan on putting out a full-scale review, but I will say that I'm really enjoying the game so far. And to be honest, even more so than I initially thought, being someone who typically isn't into tactical RPGs or visual novel-esque games. I do like watching anime and reading manga from time to time, so maybe that's why I'm enjoying this so much. And maybe it's mostly because it's Digimon and I've been kind of really hyped about Digimon in general lately, but I'm unapologetic about that. All that being said, if you are a Digimon fan and want to stay up to date on the entire monster taming genre, definitely subscribe to my channel because I put out new videos every single day. Check out my Discord, Twitter, my Patreon, all links below. Special thanks to the patrons, especially Steel Case, Dro Ghost, Dark Persona, and Jim Hamilton, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.